Howdy cowpokes, and welcome back to another 10 insane details you probably didn't know in Red Dead Redemption 2. On today's episode, I thought we'd try something a little bit different. Instead of just picking out all random details from throughout the game, I thought I'd concentrate specifically on details regarding Red Dead Redemption 2's version of the Civil War. There's a lot of things that I've noticed while searching for some of these details that I haven't seen anywhere else on YouTube. So I figure a lot of people still may not know about them. So I just thought I'd showcase a couple of these things to see if anybody out there has seen them already or if this is something new to you.
More funny.
Crap.
Yeah.
You might stumble upon a campsite where a friendly camper will invite you to sit a while with him while he tells you a story about how his father used to be under the command of General Quincy Harris, Red Dead Redemption 2's version of the Confederate leader General Lee.
Help yourself, friend. Ain't no bother to me. Are you familiar with Saint Denis?
Sure.
The houses there, hate the place. All those people, all that noise. Makes me feel like I'm choking. Only went there because there's a feller who pays good money for stuff. Well, he calls it exotic. Egret feathers and the such like don't seem that exotic to me.
Mm-hmm.
Things city folk will pay for. On my way through the main square, I see this big statue of General Quincy Harris, a war hero. War hero? My pa fought under him, said he was a coward who sold out his men. He even said there was rumors old Quincy was working for the other side. But of course, none of this will ever be in the history books. I spat on that statue and I left town, and won't be going back there neither. Well, no point in dwelling on it anymore. Ain't the best memory, but I swear I seen you before.
Me? No, I don't think so. I just look like a lot of people.
I don't like this one bit.
And as the camper informs you, there are rumors that General Quincy Harris is suggested to be a coward during the war, and how a statue of his in Saint Denis was vandalized. Given his feelings toward the general, it could be that he is the one who ended up vandalizing the statue, as you can find out later by reading a newspaper column that somebody had wrote the words coward on the statue. And if you're able to find it in the middle of town, you can see for yourself.
Whoa! Hey, out of the way! I'm on a tight schedule.
Some ways northeast of Saint Denis, you can find the ruins of an abandoned military fort called Fort Brennan. According to Red Dead Redemption 2's history of the fort and of a report that you can find within, on May 8th of 1863, the Confederate Army under the command of General Quincy Harris attacked the fort at night. Confederate soldiers climbed the trees near the fort and started shooting over the walls at the Union soldiers within. Eventually, the Confederate soldiers broke through the north gate as surviving U.S. soldiers fought to protect the fort, but were outnumbered and overrun by the larger number of Confederate force. The U.S. Army soldiers who surrendered or were captured were executed and burned. And you can also find a newspaper column that states U.S. Army veterans that survived the massacre remember the event. And in addition, the newspaper states that details of the massacre are still contested and that a memorial was planned for the site. But as the events of the epilogue come around in 1907, there has been no work of the memorial that began or any word of it. The massacre at Fort Brennan appears to be loosely based on the Battle of Fort Pillow, or also known as the Fort Pillow Massacre, that took place on April 12th of 1864 along the Mississippi River near the Arkansas-Tennessee border. Confederate soldiers massacred black Union troops and white officers who were attempting to surrender. Controversy continues to this day as to how many soldiers were killed, as well as to whether Confederate General Nathan Bedford Forrest ordered the massacre or the Union soldiers, or the Confederate soldiers under his command acted spontaneously. To further solidify General Harris's legacy as a coward, if you're riding around Boulder Glade on a rainy night, you may hear small segments of a battle that's happening, or that happened, on the old battlefield there. I've already included it in a previous detail video about a week ago, so I won't include the entire segment on this video, but I'll have the link listed above, so if you want to watch that video and you can listen to the entire audio files put together.
General Harris, the Major requested an answer, sir. General Harris, please, sir.
There on the same battlefield, you can find an old corpse of a Confederate soldier pinned to a tree with a bayonet. On him, you can find a letter from his wife indicating that she was very concerned of the upcoming battle he was to participate in under the command of General Harris, and knowing of his cowardice, she was urging him to return home after having a bad feeling about what was going to happen. You can actually find the soldier's wife in a cabin a little ways north of Roanoke Ridge. Outside of the property, you can actually find also a rare, unique hatchet that you can save in your inventory. But as you enter the house, you can find what appears to be the soldier's wife, Martha, dead on the floor. It's unclear how she died, but assuming from everything that's happened, she either died from a broken heart knowing that her husband Garfield died, or given that news, she might have killed herself. But on her, you can find a letter from Garfield to her a few months before the letter that she wrote to him, indicating that he was fearful of the upcoming battle, given the rash decisions that General Harris was making from all the accusations of cowardice that he was receiving. Another detail regarding General Harris is that if you are in the Saint Denis cemetery, you can actually find his gravesite as well as other members of his family taking up a rather large plot in the middle of the cemetery. And contrary to all the rumors and controversy surrounding his name, it's actually said that he was a brave and proud veteran and leader of the Civil War. As I'm sure many players have already encountered before, the legless Civil War veteran outside the Rhodes General Store, you can encounter him in the epilogue as John, but what's interesting is that he will actually recognize John as being an acquaintance of Arthur's. But the weird thing is that Arthur and John were never seen together in Rhodes, mostly in every other town in the game, or at least Valentine, major towns like that. But as far as Rhodes, Arthur was never really with any of the gang members, as they needed to keep a low profile as they were acting as deputies for the sheriff's office. So it's a little strange there, a little plot hole. Maybe Rockstar forgot to cut out as maybe that there was supposed to be a mission involving John and Arthur in Rhodes, but that just didn't make it to the final game. So maybe that's what this is suggesting. If not, then maybe it's just a developer oversight.
God, I hope you're planning on bathing soon.
How you doing, buddy?
Okay. And you?
Well, only got the one leg. Been standing here since about 1870 and slowly starving to death.
Sorry I asked.
Don't worry about it. Hey, say you a Yankee?
I'm not sure.
You know, there was a fella I used to see with you a few years back. He was tall and a moody face.
Yeah, Arthur. He died, I'm afraid.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear it.
He saved my life.
Is that so? You didn't always seem the type.
No. No, he didn't.
The annoying self-proclaimed war veteran, Mickey, that you can encounter in Valentine, will eventually confess to you that he was never a war veteran to begin with, and he's not sure why he lied about it. But during the conversation, or the final conversation that he has with Arthur, after learning about his illness and knowing that Arthur doesn't have much time left, he decides to finally open up about the truth.
Well, here's the thing. I never was in the army, friend. I told folk I was. But I lied. I don't know why I did. And now I feel better. But
If you're out riding between the outskirts of Roanoke Ridge and the Heartlands, you can encounter a Civil War veteran guarding a post, which he still thinks that the Civil War is still going on. Much like the Lemoyne Raiders, he for some reason thinks that the war is still happening and he has to defend the northern states. There are many different encounters you can actually have with this fellow, including one in the epilogue, but I'll include all of those clips shown in a separate video as it will take quite a lot of time, and I'm trying to keep this video as short as possible. But depending what your reaction is when he asks you what side you're on, he will actually be hostile or he'll be peaceful.
North or south? State your side, sir.
I ain't no southerner, if that's what you're worried about.
I am worried. Very worried indeed. Captain Hayden Russell, 29th Amberino Volunteer Infantry.
We've met before, you know.
I never laid eyes on you in my life. Been stationed here a while. We should be pushing down to Lemoyne soon. Communication's been slow and difficult, but like General SCARLETT says, a good soldier knows how to wait.
You've certainly done that.
Well, I can't be caught nattering to civilians. I have a post to guard.
Wake him up a little!
Forgiveness? There's some folks who don't deserve it.